Alright dudes, it's Austin back with Dream and Rotary again. This is a video related to my ball joint in a first gen video. I'm just going to kind of show you what I'm going to run in this setup. I've got Racing Beat lowering springs with Takako Blue struts, cartridges, inserts, whatever you want to call them in this thing, with matching for the rear, so Racing Beat lowering springs, Takako Blues, GSLSE strut and spindle and GSLSE brakes, all that stuff. So the nicest first gen brake setup you could get stock. Don't argue with me about FC stuff right now. So I'm going to have the new ball joints in it, and then I have to basically rehab this a little bit more and then install in on the ball joint, and then put this on the strut, and then the strut goes in the car. And so here's what the old ones looked like, the old spindles and struts and stuff. So I'm going to show you kind of what an old setup looks like, what mine looked like at least. So you've got basically everything in this whole subframe is shot. What do they call these things? Sway bar end links. The rubber is completely crushed in here. Nothing left of it. Sway bar is pretty loose, not doing much anymore. And then the bushing that's in here is the control arm bushing that holds this control arm on. That one is rubber and also cracked and shot. Ball joints are original to the car, I'm sure. So those I'm sure need to be replaced anyways. And then under here, it's going to be like impossible to do with the camera in hand. But under here, you've got this tension rod. Let's see if I can... I'll show you on the new one. You got this tension rod that holds the control arm to the front side of the sway bar mounts, way up in here. And so that thing also has a bushing in it. It's called like a tension rod, tension strut, I can't remember what it's called. But this also has a bushing, so... And then the sway bar has a bushing up in here as well in the carrier. So I ended up replacing all of this with energy suspensions stuff. So I have energy suspension sway bar end links with polyurethane, black polyurethane, bushings in those, all lubed up, and then original bolts in here for the strut tension rod. And then I have got the bushing way back up in here that we can't see because of that light. But I've got the bushing back in here, also redone, and then new ball joint here, and then the new bushings for the tension rods here, and the bushings for the sway bar up in there. So I basically took this whole suspension out, and I took it out of a different car, repainted it, made it look decently nice and pretty, and then put it in this car. So I'm going to see if I can walk around, back around this way, back around the old one, and I'm going to walk around here real quick. In this place that's an absolute mess because I got to get one of these cars done, or both of them actually. Here it is kind of lit up a little bit better. There we go. So you can see new bushings over there in the tension rod, bushings in the sway bar, new ball joint, new sway bar end link, new bushing in the control arm. That's all the bushings that I did. Did that, like I said, energy suspension black, so it's got the impregnated lube in it. The red ones are cool and all if you want to be a race car, but I just wanted to have them impregnated for up here in Minnesota so that they don't dry out, or when it gets cold they don't condensate or anything and make them squeak. So that is the front suspension, basically components, and then back here, and that is kind of how you rehab a front suspension on a first gen. I might also do a video on how to align it, because I am not sure how I'm going to do that. You kind of have to deal with your caster, which comes from those tension rods that you can't really set up again based on the original ones because the original bushings were so crushed that it's changed. And then the camber comes from the strut top mount up there, and then your toe comes from the tie rods. And so I'm probably going to bring it in somewhere with an alignment rack that'll let me kind of screw with it and see if I can't get it figured out a little bit better. So that's kind of the quick and dirty explanation of it. Thanks again for watching, guys. I appreciate it. I promise that I'm going to get one and or both of these cars out of here soon. The first gen, once the suspension's done, it'll be on its own suspension. I'll get the motor in, and the RX-8 motor is scheduled to go in next weekend if we can get the motor stacked. So thanks again for watching, guys. I appreciate it. This is Austin with Dream and Rotary. Keep on rotating, fellas.